Snake is dead.
Oh god. The bone is coming out of his left arm.
Wait a minute. That's not 7.
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. It's fake. It's not a real arm. The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm.
Oh, I get it. We're gonna see if we can get anywhere interesting with the Jupiter key.
I knew it!
This is a numbered door.
You know, it is interesting that E-Deck wasn't flooded.
Well, we don't really know if all of E-Deck is safe. We only checked the area around the elevator.
And that means Zero planned all this out, even the sinking.
Yeah, seems like.
Well, that does go along with what Ace was saying. The most reasonable explanation would be that this was done by some organization with access to a whole lot of cash.
The squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like the ghost of like the noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. She sat on the edge of the bed, her head drooping listlessly onto her chest. Her eyes were blank and stared across the room at nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as if even a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed the same way the Ninth Man was.
7 lowered his voice, likely in an effort to keep Clover from hearing what he had to say. There were 4 other people in the room, with Junpei and 7. Ace, Santa, June, and Lotus. 7 looked at each one of them in turn and continued.
It's pretty straightforward. Not that hard to figure out how they did it. First, the killers got Snake to authenticate on the red to open door 3. Then they shoved him into it. Alone. And waited 9 seconds for the door to shut. Once that door shut, it was all over for Snake. But he didn't give up. He probably knew it wouldn't do him any good, but he probably ran into the shower room looking for the dead.
Probably, yeah.
It was a small chance, but it wasn't like he had anything to lose. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The detonator is only deactivated if everybody who authenticated when they went in uses the dead. Snake was the only one who went through the door.
Yeah.
And then, 81 seconds after he was shoved in, that happened.
I mean, I still don't understand how they managed the trick, but based on what Clover mentioned about his arm, it can't have been Snake, because Snake didn't have an arm. I'm still convinced that Snake is still alive. I just don't know how they managed to find a body wearing Snake's clothes. I have no explanation for that.
I see. So that's what you meant by killers, huh? You need at least 3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake. It wouldn't open for Snake and a single killer.
Yeah. That means we're looking at multiple perps here.
Junpei crossed his arms and grunted.
Well, just in case, I want to make sure. Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed?
When we all split up to look for the parts for the Reds, I think. Right after that was when we noticed he was gone.
Yeah.
And that means none of us have alibis. We were all off searching the rooms we'd been assigned, looking for those parts.
Yeah. That means anybody could be a killer.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
June seemed shocked.
How can you say that so casually?
It's not so much casually as it is grimly.
You're implying that one of us is a killer.
More than one of us, actually, June.
Well, not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least 2 of us are murderers.
Why don't you calm down a bit, 7? What are you going to gain by being so suspicious? That's what Zero wants, you know?
What Zero wants?
Exactly. This game was set up by Zero, wasn't it? Any game has a winner and loser. Whoever makes it through door 9 is a winner. And those who don't are the losers. Zero is trying to make us fight against one another for that victory.
Yeah,
So you're saying that Zero is trying to split us up by making us fight each other?
exactly. And what better way to do that than to make us think that one of our own died and that a number of us are responsible for it when a death didn't actually happen.
Yes. That is why we can't let ourselves fall prey to suspicion.
Exactly.
We have to trust one another and form a strong bond of friendship.
Yeah, because if otherwise we can't get out of here. If we distrust everybody and we can't cooperate, then how are we going to be able to escape when we find the ninth door?
Otherwise, we'll end up ensnared by Zero's manipulations.
Then does that mean that the person who killed Snake...
Yes. Almost certainly Zero himself. If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero. He masterminded this game and kidnapped all of us. Doesn't it seem reasonable that he would have killed Snake as well?
It seems even more reasonable that he would plant Snake's dead body. But then that lies the question, where's the real Snake?
Good question.
Junpei hadn't really considered that.
If Zero killed Snake, then Zero is on the ship with us.
Junpei. Was Zero still on the ship with them? Of course he was. Of course he was. That was obvious.
But I don't...
Zero was somewhere on the ship, but Junpei had no idea where. Junpei mumbled to himself, lost in thought.
Where could Zero be hiding?
It's a good question. Some sort of control room, probably. Suddenly, everyone went very quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. Again, he heard the ghosting moaning noise. And moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was a cold monotone.
I think Zero is one of us.
I mean, that would make sense. Because if you were to consider that perhaps that there's no real way that Zero would be here outside of us, I mean, it makes sense that he might actually even be moving around one of us, because who's going to suspect that Zero put himself in the game? But the question is, which one of us? Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. Eyes darted from face to face. One of those faces was the face of their jailer. But who? Was he one of them? Yeah, that is possible.
Well, that's possible.
Huh?
Like Clover said, Zero might be one of us.
What are you saying, Junpei?
I knew she wasn't going to be happy with me with that. But at the same time, she's not wrong. It could potentially be one of us. Question is, which one of us?
Didn't you hear what Ace said?
Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect one another for no reason.
No reason. I've got a great reason. And what's that?
The bracelets.
He held out his left arm.
Why are the bombs in our bodies connected to the bracelets? You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to. It would be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by the detonator in the bracelet?
Very good question, actually.
You got a point.
I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the Nonary game. All of the puzzles here run all by themselves.
They do.
In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward. Why's that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that?
Very, very good questions. Junpei let the question hang in the air and looked at the others. It was Santa who answered.
So let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us. If that's the case, then it'd be really hard for him to keep track of all of us or control anything remotely.
True.
That's why all the puzzles run by themselves.
Exactly.
That's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
7, when we were talking earlier, you said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, then. I've got a question for you, Ace. You said something like Zero must be the one who killed Snake, right?
Yes, something like that. I can't think of any other explanation.
So what do we get if we combine those? They fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake is Zero. Hence, Zero is one of us. 7 and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other pretty well.
Yeah.
At least they do if Zero is one of us.
No one spoke. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. I know June's probably gonna blast me out for that because she doesn't want to believe that one of us is the killer. At the same time, it makes the most sense. And everything that Junpei has just explained is 100% accurate. Finally, Lotus spoke up.
What were his motives?
His motives?
Yes, isn't that pretty important? Why would Zero want to hide as one of us?
To make the game interesting?
Oh, well, that's because,
Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that. And he had to be honest with himself. He had no idea.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed.
Well, so much for making a persuasive argument, Junpei.
Hey, the rest of it was fucking persuasive.
In other words, you only had circumstantial evidence.
I don't really think that's enough to go on, you know?
Junpei was painfully aware their eyes were on him, and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else, to look at. Then in that horrible silence, they heard a bell begin to ring. It was the clock at the central staircase.
It's 3 in the morning.
Yep, meaning we only have 3 hours to live.
That means we have 3 hours left.
Then we need to move now. 7, Clover, Junpei, I know how you feel, but you do understand that right now it's important we trust one another, don't you?
You're right, but
Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say and sighed. 7 and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else, very far away.
We must go. We have very little time left.
Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going.
our next destination is Mercury.
But maybe you and June should check it out first and then report back to us.
All right, let's go, June.
Right. Here it is.
It sat, bolted to the wall near the stairs that led to the casino and the kitchen, between the two elevators.
The Mercury card reader.
We're using the card 7 gave us, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I found it when we were checking out the shower room.
I think 7 said something like that.
Yeah, he did.
Anyway, let's see what happens.
Junpei slid the card through the reader. The light on the reader turned green and made a tiny electronic noise.
I guess the elevator works now.
Junpei, I know it's only the two of us, but let's do our best.
Right.
What's with you all of a sudden?
Well, I'm happy we were put together.
Aww. That's sweet.
You know it's just for searching E-Deck, right?
Even so, I'm glad I'm with you.
Aww.
Oh. First, we need to find out if the elevator comes up full of water.
Just like we did before.
Exactly.
Oh, here it is.
I knew it. It's not wet at all.
Let's go.
Yes.
Once it had been checked for water, Junpei and June stepped into the elevator.
Look! Nearly all of the buttons are destroyed.
Wow.
Yeah, only the seat and bottom button can be pushed.
Okay.
We're on C deck right now, so the only one we can choose is bottom.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's try it out.
Junpei hit the bottom button. The door closed. Slowly, they began to move downward.
So this is the bottom deck.
They stepped off and saw that the hallway to the right ended somewhere between 20 to 25 feet from them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end. But not a regular dead end.
Hey, over there.
This is a numbered door.
It is. The number 2.
This is the 8th one we found.
It is. Which means there's only one door we haven't found yet. Which means we're getting close to the end of the game, folks.
There were 2 numbered doors on B deck near the central staircase. They were doors 4 and 5.
Yep.
3 more in the large hospital room. Doors 3, 7, and 8.
And the door we found on E deck, and the door Lotus and Santa found on A deck. It was a 6 on the door on E deck, and a 1 on the door on A deck.
Yep. 4, 5, 3, 7, 8, 6, and 1. And now door 2 stood in front of Junpei.
That means...
Yep.
Do you think the next door we find?
Yeah, I think so. The next one's gonna be door 9.
Despite himself, Junpei felt excited. There was something about that excitement that frightened him as well.
Finally!
Yeah,
You don't look very happy about it, though.
it's not that. I just hope nothing goes wrong.
More along the lines of the fact that, now with, Snake dead or missing, only one group can go pass through the door 9. The other group won't ever have the numbers.
You're right. We should keep our fingers crossed.
Let's head back.
Okay.
He did his best to put it from his mind and headed back to C deck with June.
One, 2, 3, 4. All right, 7 pieces.
The pieces of paper they'd folded up lay on the ground next to Junpei's legs. Everyone had written on paper pulled from Junpei's notebook in an effort to pull together a blind vote.
Just double checking, but everyone wrote their code name and a door number they want, right?
Yes, just like you told us earlier.
Can't believe we're voting here.
Why have they decided to vote that way?
We need to make the whole thing fair, blah-de-blah. This is a complicated plan, you know. Hurry it up, Mr. I have a brilliant idea.
They decided it wasn't fair to simply ask everyone at once. That would allow people to force others to go through certain doors.
Yeah, quiet in the peanut gallery.
And he had a plan. It wasn't a plan he wanted anyone catching wind of, however. So he did his best to act calm as he began to open and read the pieces of paper.
All right, let's open these up. The first one says, Ace requests door 1.
Yes, I do. Would you like me to explain why?
No, we don't have time for that. Sorry. Let's keep going.
He opened the second one.
Next is Santa. He wants door 6.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Junpei continued with the third, fourth, and fifth pieces of paper.
Clover wants 1, Lotus wants 2, and 7 also wants 2.
Wait a minute. There is no way I'm going anywhere with the Elephant Man.
No, there'd be no point to the voting if we let people change their choices because of stuff like that.
Exactly.
But
Just give it up, Lotus. It's not like I want to hang out with some exhibitionist grandma.
Oh!
I am not an exhibitionist. I'm wearing clothes.
So you're not going to care about the fact that he called you a grandma?
Barely.
So, last I checked, that's not a crime.
Maybe. But what about common decency? Nobody wants to have to look at a chick who looks like a half-naked raisin.
Oh!
Oh, I'm gonna kill you!
Oh boy. Lotus's hair flared out like a mane of an angry lion.
Not good.
And she roared with a voice that shook the walls. With some difficulty, Ace managed to restrain her.
Junpei, read the rest.
Right.
Junpei tore his eyes away and looked down at the 6th piece of paper. He opened it.
June wants door 6.
Yes, I don't really have a reason. I just felt like it.
Because it matched your number, right? All of the papers save Junpei's had been read. He did some quick calculations in his head.
So this was everyone invoked. Ace and Clover requested door 1.
So 4 and 1 makes 5. This was the door on A deck near the central staircase.
7 and Lotus requested door 2.
So 7 and 8 is 15 plus 1 is 6. This was the door on the bottom deck and could be reached by taking the elevator to the bottom of the ship.
Santa and June requested door 6.
3 and 6 is 9. Yeah, just 3 and 6 is 9. This was the door on E deck and could be reached by taking the elevator near the central staircase down.
Then the door I should choose is...
It took him less than a second to run the numbers. He opened the 7th piece of paper and spoke.
Okay, the last one is mine.
I get what this plan is. He wanted to see where everyone else wanted to go, and then his would be the swing vote.
I want to go through...
Yep, I'm gonna have to choose. 1, 2, and 6. You know what? I'm gonna go with door 1. I mean, as much as I want to work with June, I'm kind of curious about door 1.
My choice is door 1.
Santa was unconvinced.
Hey, wait a minute there. You cheating?
Cheating?
I'm asking if you changed your number after you heard what doors we wanted.
Fuck, he knew it.
How could I do that? I wrote it down on the paper earlier.
Let me see that.
Sure, here.
Junpei shrugged and handed it to him. Santa examined it furiously. The others peered at it as well. As they did, Junpei quickly slipped the piece of paper he'd been hiding into his pocket. Yeah! He wrote 3 choices and then pulled the one that would be his choice. Brilliant. Although he'd never know it now, Santa had been justified in his suspicions. Junpei had switched papers.
I had 3 pieces of paper ready.
For doors 1, 2, and 6.
And I put the one with door 6 on it into the pot.
He put a small mark on it so that he would know which one was his.
I just needed to make sure I drew last. After I saw everyone else's result, I just chose whatever door I wanted.
Exactly.
If the number I'd already put in matched, then I didn't have to switch the paper out. Well, what does it say?
He fought the urge to smirk.
You got lucky.
Uh-huh. Santa snorted and tossed the paper aside, frustrated.
Very well. We've decided who will go through door 1. It will be Clover, Junpei, and myself.
1 and 4 plus 5 was 10, and then 1 plus 0 equals 1.
Our only problem is the 2 remaining teams.
Yeah, that's true.
June and I want door 6.
Lotus and I want door 2.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
We can't open either of those doors with only 2 people. Aw.
Fine. 7, we'll go through door 6.
3 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 equals 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6.
Sure thing. I didn't really want to go through door 2 anyway.
Then why did you pick it?
Besides, if we've got a younger girl with us, it'll lower the average age.
Oh.
Right, June?
Well, I
Yeah, June, just wisely back away and refuse to engage. June was at a loss for words. Lotus was not.
Pig. You just wait and see.
Oh. Her eyes were on the... Her eyes... fuck.
Calling me old. This is why men are such a pain in the ass. They're about as subtle as a brick.
And they're at it again.
Yeah, they are. Even after they separated at the staircase, Lotus was still muttering angrily to herself. Also, sorry about that, guys. I accidentally clicked while I was in the middle of reading, so I missed a lot of what was said before that. If you want to read what that said, then feel free to backtrack and pause a little bit. Again, sorry about that.
I'll see you later, June.
Jumpy.
I know. Circumstances dictated that Junpei and June would have to part ways again, but this time it didn't quite sting so much.
Don't make that face. It'll be like what Seven said.
We aren't going to be split up permanently till we find door 9.
Exactly.
We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we won't be able to open door 9. That's how the Nonary game works.
Seven's words took a weight off of Junpei's shoulders and felt much better.
It'll be fine. I'll see you soon.
All right. See you later.
Lingering uneasy remained, but they went their separate directions without much trouble. Junpei, Ace, and Clover headed towards A deck.
Here's A deck. It was the door on the left, right?
That should be it, yes.
And here we go.
It opened, and they walked through.
It's just as Santa and Lotus said.
At the end of the hallway sat a door with a large red 1 upon it.
A numbered door.
To the left of it, bolted to the wall, was the red.
There's the red. I'll go first.
Ace went first and waved his wrist over the scanner panel.
Now the two of you, if you would.
Junpei was next. Finally, listlessly, Clover lifted her arm. She leaned towards the scanner panel. The third asterisk clicked to life, shining brightly. Ace took hold of the lever.
Now.
He took a deep breath and turned to Junpei and Clover.
Are you ready? Shall I pull it?
Yeah, anytime.
Clover said nothing. She nodded, a little more than a lethargic twitch of the head.
Very well, then. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
And it's open! Move it!
They stumbled into the room.
Where is it?
Frantically, Junpei scanned the room. His eyes stopped on the device that would determine whether they lived or died.
There it is! Over there!
Next to the door they'd come through was the dead. As one, they ran to it. They put their hands over it as if they were fighting for it.
It stopped.
Yes, it did.
Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. Ace and Clover were breathing hard and fast.
Whew. I don't believe I'll ever get used to that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it's something I'd want to get used to.
agreed.
We should finish this game before imminent death becomes a normal thing.
Agreed.
I agree.
Now then.
Junpei looked around again, this time more slowly.
There's another door.
It looks like it might be a puzzle room.
Let's try opening it.
He took hold of the knob and easily, gently pulled it open.
So, this is the wheelhouse?
He closed the door again and turned to Ace and Clover. Okay, so I guess it's not a puzzle room. He fixed each in turn with a meaningful stare, then spoke.
Ace, you investigate the wheelhouse next door.
Very well.
Clover, you're in charge of this room. Say something.
Okay, I will.
All right then, let's get started.
Okay, so it is a puzzle room. Okay, drawers. Oh, it's another map. Nice. Stack of nautical charts. I think this is a nautical chart. There's this line on it here. I think the line is the route the ship's supposed to take. There are these dots all over the map. Oh, those are probably ports, like for a boat to stop at. Looks like the lines connect the dots. Okay. A chair. A chair. Clover isn't talking much. Well, I guess that's understandable. I mean, she's been through a lot. Really, it's more surprising that she's still together enough to talk at all. Okay, okay, so I guess I can't touch the map. A light. It looks kind of like a wilted flower. Okay, I guess I move on to this desk. Ah. It's a pocket watch. That's a pocket watch. She sure hasn't been saying much. And she just keeps looking at the floor. She seems kind of sad. A voice he hadn't expected startled Junpei from his examination of the pocket watch.
Oh, pocket watch. Might I take a look at it?
Yeah, sure, I guess. He spun around to find Ace standing in the doorway. Junpei shrugged and handed him the pocket watch.
Hey, man. What are you doing over in this room?
Oh, I just thought I'd come check up on the two of you. Is there a problem?
No, I guess not. I mean, we only just started searching, though, so... Well, not a problem, but...
Well, not a problem, but...
Junpei looked desperately around the room. Anywhere but at Ace, trying to find a convincing reason to dismiss him. Ace opened his mouth, then took another look at Junpei and shut it again. A small smirk appeared on his face.
Oh, I see. Of course.
Why do I get the feeling that he's gotten the wrong idea about stuff? He looked Junpei over, then glanced at Clover. Oh my god, no! Ew, no! No, 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 no!
I apologize for the intrusion. Well, best of luck.
That's not what I meant! Oh my god, Ace! Ace gave Junpei a knowing pat on the shoulder and laughed.
Ow.
Ugh. For no reason he could fathom, Junpei's head began to hurt. Yeah, Ace just got the wrong idea, and that is no. Ew, gross. Blech. Blech. Blech.
What the hell? My head.
A sharp pain in his head. How much time passed? He wasn't sure. But he did notice when Ace strode through the door. His smile was more of a smirk, and he had the air of a man who knew more than his opponent.
Yes. There was something I wanted to check, if you don't mind.
Sure, I guess?
Yeah? What's that?
Pardon me.
With no warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Junpei's vest.
Hey, what the hell are you doing? Whoa, what are you putting your hand in my pocket for? Stop!
Personal space, dude? Like, what? Who? I didn't give you permission to touch me. Come on now. He reached for Ace's arm, but it was already too late. In the older man's hands were the pieces of paper Junpei had balled up and hidden in his pocket. Oh, yeah. He's on to me.
Just as I thought.
Yeah.
You switched them, didn't you, when we voted? Well, I can't say that I care.
Well, as long as you keep your mouth shut, I think we're going to be okay.
I managed to get through the numbered door I wanted, despite your mischief.
Then, why did you...
Oh, simple curiosity. I hope you won't think ill of me for it.
Ace smiled, gave Junpei a friendly pat on the shoulder, and then turned on his heel and left. It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Junpei had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense.
Damn.
Damn is right. Let's just hope he doesn't go running his mouth off to everybody else, because then all of a sudden, people stop trusting me. Shit. The left drawer. Let's have a look. Nothing. The right drawer. Let's have a look. Nothing. Okay. Oh yeah, so I get to see the map. Oh wow. All of these places. Map. It's got the Atlantic Ocean in the middle. Hey, Junpei. What do you think these red things are? Yeah, they look like pins. They're map pins. Basically, you would put them on the map to pinpoint a specific location. What do you think they're for? Who knows? What do you mean, who knows? Come on, be serious! I am! Fucking hell. Red pins on a map of the world. I wonder what they mean. Hey, Junpei. You sure you don't have any, like, hints or clues or something? Oh. Yeah. Let me see if they match up. Ah. A world map with the Atlantic Ocean in the center. There are a number of red pins in several locations. What do these red pins mean? Well, the nautical charts I picked up earlier have a map like this one. Maybe one of them matches up to the pins or something. Let's see. Well, what do you know? Looks like this one's a match to the pins. Okay, so we've got 7 locations connected by straight lines. And each one has a word next to it. That's probably the speed. New material has been added to the file screen. Oh, cool. So, let's actually take a look at that. Nautical table. A nautical table found in the chart room. It shows directions of southwest, northwest, southwest. Sorry, southwest, northwest, southwest, east, north, and straight. There is a word next to each point on the map. Full, half, slow, full, half, dead, stop. That's what it says. Okay. So that's... I think that's Canada, actually. So that's half. Okay, so it starts in Japan. Moves to Australia. Moves to, I think that is Madagascar. Then down to South Africa. Then up to North America, we'll say. Yeah, no, that's the US, not Canada. Canada's a little bit further up. So that would be half. And then over to Europe somewhere. And then stop here. Too bad I can't scroll, otherwise I'd be able to figure that out. Because I know this whole area is the UK. So this would be south of the UK. So maybe Switzerland? Interesting. Let's take a look at the books. The shelves are lined with books. Let's see what's in this blue one. There's something written on it. Ship's log. Huh? Ship's log, huh? New material has been added to the file screen. Okay, back to the file screen we go. Ship's log. A ship's log found in the chart room. The following is written on the last page. We leave soon for a new journey across the sea. After leaving port, we headed south and west. We turned southwest to steer around the continent, then proceeded northwest. We made port, then changed our heading to east for a time, and are now heading due north. Soon we will dock in the United Kingdom, the homeland of this vessel. Okay, so yeah, they are heading to the UK, not Switzerland like I thought. Okay. It's a wooden box. Maybe a case for letters? Hey, Clover, you ever write letters? Nothing. A chair. Clover isn't very talkative. She looks kind of out of it. Is she thinking about Snake? Yes. Yes, she is. Okay, so that is the entrance and the dead. So I guess we go this way. There's another room on the other side of the window. Okay, that was helpful. This isn't good. So many drawers, but nothing inside of them. Okay. A desk. Anything in the drawers? Nope. A compass. It appears to be broken, however. You see, the glass cover has been smashed to pieces. Okay. I wonder. Broken compass. Doesn't look like it'll be very useful. Oh, okay, I guess not. I thought maybe combining it with the clock would help, but apparently not. The helm. Well, steering wheel might be a more appropriate term. Okay, so another one, I guess. Yes, I suppose you could call it a helm. Steering wheel might be more accurate, however. Okay. There's a compass behind the helm. There are circular holes cut in this board. Ah! An engine order telegraph. They used this on old ships to adjust the speed of the ship. Like the gear shift in a car? Well, it's a little different. This device doesn't connect directly to the engine. In short, it's a transmitter. The navigation officer uses it to set the speed of the ship, and it sends a signal to the engine. There's a handle on top of it, which can be moved back and forth to... Hold on. Huh? There's no handle. You're right. There isn't. It looks as though it was deliberately removed. Yeah, it does. So, we have to find the, I guess we have to find the handle. And then, I guess, do an order puzzle. I mean, that would make sense. That would make the map we picked up make that much more sense. A human hammer. They're often used to subdue large men like Seven. What? That was a joke, of course. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Ace, you really kind of suck at making jokes. Aww. That was rather cruel. Sorry, my dude. This room is just like the other one. Metal plates bolted over the windows. Heck, not just bolted, they look like they've been welded in. No way in hell are we getting those off, gonna get those off anytime soon. Aha! Looks like this is some sort of lock. It's got a weird shaped indentation on it. Huh? The shape. Maybe... It does look like the pocket watch would fit here. Okay. Nothing. I imagine the pocket watch is intended to go there. However, we may need to do something with the watch first. Okay. It looks like this is the only exit. Yep. And then back in here. Well, I think we have explored pretty much everything we can here. So then... circular hole cut in this board. There's a metal plate bolted over the windows. Alright, I've got the nautical chart that matches up to these pins. I don't think I need to spend any more time with this map. Oh, okay. Nothing in here. There's nothing left in the drawer. Junpei, are you trying to open that door? Get it, it's pointless. I tried it earlier. It won't open. Okay. The dead is bolted to the wall here. It's a light. Well, I guess she doesn't really feel like talking. She's not really paying attention to anything, is she? Her mind must be somewhere else. Too bad I can't interact with them and to figure out what they're thinking or get like those little cutscenes. I have to interact with specific things. An engine order telegraph. The handle's been taking off. If we can find a replacement handle, I could probably get it to move. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, but I don't know what exactly. It's just like the one on the left. It's broken though. Can't really do something that's broken. Use something that's broken. Okay, so then what am I missing? Oh! What's this? Some kind of display? It looks a little like an electronic scoreboard. I imagine it was added recently. Okay. An arrival board like an airport. There's nothing on it right now though. So what am I missing exactly? It's a mechanical pocket watch with a spring. It doesn't appear to be working. The hands have stopped at 5 minutes, 39 seconds past 5 o'clock. Turning the knob does nothing. Yeah, it's probably broken. It looks as though you could move the hands, however. Oh! Can I? Oh. So am I able to actually move it? Nope. Wow. Oh, I feel so dumb. There's nothing in the desk. A desk, there's nothing in the drawers. A broken compass. Doesn't look like it'll be very useful. This thing won't budge. Feels like there's something keeping it in place. Aha! What would be the point of moving it? The ship is stopped. What would be the use of steering it? Yeah, I know. Still. The helm. It won't move. I was hoping I could maybe find the thing that was blocking it. Huh. Let's see if this will open. No dice. Must be locked. I know that I'm supposed to put the pocket watch in this hole, but it says locked in bright red letters. Okay, now that won't help me. Full, half, slow, full, half, dead, stop. I mean, engine order telegraph, the handle's been taking off. If we can find the replacement handle, I could probably get it to move. Yeah, so where is it? There are handles placed at regular intervals, but it's so that it's easy to turn. Old school. Hey, a handle? Yeah, okay, so we're back in business. The steering wheel. Let's see if it... Whoa! Looks like the steering wheel moves. So it would seem. I noticed something else as well. What's that? Well, when you move this wheel, the compass also moves. What do you mean? The ship, it's moving. Ha! Tricked you, didn't I? The wheel and the compass must be connected to one another somehow. Do you think that's important? Well, let's try turning it again. Ah. Okay, okay. What did I say it was? It was, east-west? Oh, fuck. No. Okay, so it's at stop. Full, half slow, full, half dead stop. Okay, so we headed south and then west. Okay. You move it, then the direction changes. I swear I saw something that had directions on it. Maybe if I entered the directions in that order. South. And then east. Nothing is happening. Junpei, this is almost certainly one of Zero's puzzles. There must be a clue here somewhere that will help us solve it. Have you found anything? Perhaps something with the points of the compass on it? Yeah, no shit, I have it. Okay, so I may have to write this down. I have something to write on. So south, west, then southwest, then northwest, and then east, and then north. Okay, it's like a combination lock, I think. So let's try this again. So we start up, it defaults us at north. So let's do south first. And then west. And then southwest. Then northwest. Then east. Then north. Ah! I missed it. That's weird. Why isn't anything happening? Junpei, you aren't hiding anything, are you? Have you already found something with directions on it? Something with directions? Does he mean something with the compass points on it? If that is what he means, then maybe it would show the order that I'm supposed to enter this stuff into. It is! I'm just a scrub. Okay. Stop. 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 And then finally north. Got it! I knew it! I was right. It's just fucking tricky. The fucking controls and timings and shit. The handle came off. Huh. Stooping so low, are you, Zero? Thank you. So, I sure hope this handle fits. Yes, it fits! Excellent. That should allow us to operate the engine order telegraph. Let's give it a shot. Oh, we will. Nothing's happening. No, I don't think so. Take a look. Over there, above the door to the chart room. Okay. Oh, yeah! There we go. There's something on the wall that looks like an arrival board. There's only stuff displayed on the left side. What the hell is this? It's the name of the ports in the world. I imagine it's showing us the ship's route. You know, just like the ones you might see at an airport. Departing XX carrier, XX flight, XX at XXOO. Like that. Oh, I get it. It does look like those are the names of all the ports along the ship's route. But there's only one line that shows the arrival time. Ah, the time on the bottom, right? 47 seconds and 25 minutes past 7 o'clock. Perhaps that's the arrival time. Okay, and that's what I have to change the clock to read. There's a whole bunch of words on the arrival board. Looks like they're showing the different stops on the ship's route and the time expected to arrive at the final destination. The time set is 25 minutes and 47 seconds past 7 o'clock. Just writing that down for reference. Why would they specify seconds? Because that is how I'm supposed to... Because that's supposed to be on the clock. But the nautical table is full. Okay, I'm going to write this one down too. Full. Half. Slow. Full. Half. Dead. And then stop. Okay, let's go back to this. Alright, let's give this another shot. Full. Half. Slow. Full. Dead slow. Stop. Nothing happened. Okay, actually, hang on. That's weird. Nothing happened. Indeed, and it appeared there had been no change to the arrival board either. Ideally, there ought to be a clue somewhere that might suggest what speed we need to input. Junpei, what's that you have there? Huh? Oh, this? It's a nautical chart or something, I think. I found it in the chart room. What on earth are you doing? The speed is written right there. Did you put it in the speed to show it shows on the charts? I did. Full, half, slow, full. Oh, okay, hold on. I know I gotta do it. The nautical chart has a number of different speeds written on it. If you put them in the way they're written here, something should happen, I hope. Okay, I skipped one. Full, half, slow, full, half, dead slow, stop. Huh? That's weird. I thought I put in the right speed. Did I mess up? No, I don't think so. The same thing happened earlier, remember? There's been a change to the arrival board. Yeah, you're right. Let's check it out. Okay. The display's changed. Now it's showing an estimated time of arrival of 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Clock. 0 minutes. 10 seconds. The time. The time. It's just like the one on the left. It's broken though. Can't really use something that's broken. This looks like it's connected to the helm. I know I'm supposed to put the pocket watch in this hole, but steering wheel that's missing one of its handles. I don't need to mess with this thing anymore. Okay, so then what the fuck am I supposed to do? Broken pocket watch. I can only move the hands manually. The knob doesn't work. Yeah, no shit. I'm trying to manipulate it, and it's not doing anything. It's a wooden board with circular holes in it. It's just like the one on their left. It's broken, though. Can't really use something that's broken. The desk. There's nothing in the drawers. Okay, maybe there's something else in here? A chair. Seems solemn, however. Somehow, and melancholy. Shelves are lined with books. Looks like they all have something to do with sailing. None of these look very useful. Broken compass doesn't look like it'll be very useful. The helm won't move. Junpei, take a look. The display panel looks different. Yeah, you're right. Only the left half of it is on, though. The last line, it says that the estimated arrival time at the final destination is 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. I wonder why they have seconds in there. Seems a little too specific. There's gotta be a reason for that. Oh, perhaps... Whoa, what's he doing? Excuse me, Junpei. Hey, he took my pocket watch. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Trust me. It should be fine now. Well, thanks for giving me the pocket watch back, but you don't need to look so smug about it. Let's see what he... Oh, he moved the hands. What I've been trying to do, but wasn't able to do. Like, game, why can't I move the fucking hands? 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. Oh, so you changed it to match the final arrival time. Ace nodded slowly. You know what to do next, right? Give it a shot. Pocket watch. The hands show 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. It's set to the same time as the estimated arrival time at the final destination. What are you doing? There's only one thing for you to do, you know. Now, give it a try. I mean, I know, I just wanted to see if it said anything different. Looks like this is some sort of lock. It's got a weird shaped indentation on it. Actually, it's shaped just like this pocket watch I've got. Let's try putting this in here. Yep. Yes! It says open now. Good work. Seems you were successful. Well done, Junpei. Hey! Hey, Clover! What? Look, we unlocked the door! Now we can get out of this room. Oh. Well, let's go then. Clover. And the puzzle is solved.
A hallway?
It's far too narrow to be called one.
They found themselves in a small space outside of the wheelhouse. On their left was a wooden door.
This seems to be the only route.
Yeah, let's go.
Junpei pushed it open and stepped into the room beyond.
Wow.
It was full of all manner of turn-of-the-century electronic equipment.
Well, these machines are weird. I've never seen any of them before. Huh? Wait, this one is...
One smaller machine had a metal bar that ended in a circular handle. Ace seemed to recognize it.
Ah, yes. A telegraph key. These were used to transmit Morse code a long time ago.
Yeah! He turned and slowly took in the room.
This must be the communication office.
I mean, it would make sense. Across the room from the door they'd entered through was another door.
And that door?
A metal plaque was nailed to it. It read,
Captain's quarters. Huh.
Yep.
That's what it says.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, Clover, I just said it did.
Then, do you think...
Ooh, yeah, maybe he's behind there. If he's there. Ace swallowed. Junpei could feel his hands begin to sweat. Only Clover seemed unaffected.
Well, we won't know if we don't open it.
She walked up to the door and put her hand on the knob. It opened easily, and without so much as a pause, she walked in. Junpei and Ace followed. The first thing they saw was a man on the floor covered in blood. Well, the captain's dead. Junpei felt his body seize up. His mouth went dry, and he felt very, very cold. The blood in his veins slowed to a crawl, and his heart tightened like a fist.
Not again.
This was the third time he'd seen the horror of death laid out before him. He didn't think it was something he could stand to see much more of. Still, he had begun to accept that whatever it was that he saw, whatever happened to him, was beyond his control, and whatever force controlled him was driven by a determination that he could not hope to match.
Damn.
A sense of helplessness, of desperation, washed over him. It left behind a feeling of utter emptiness that wormed its way through his body like acid.
No, wait. We didn't check his pulse yet.
Dude, he's dead.
Maybe he's still alive.
Fueled by that spark of hope, Junpei ran to the man's body, and his heart fell. When he touched his hand to his neck.
No pulse.
Yep. I mean, the fact that there's no pupils in the eyes is also a dead giveaway, guy. His pupils had dilated, and he wasn't breathing.
Well, he's dead.
Yep.
Damn. If only we knew how it happened.
Junpei lifted the man's already stiff body. Oh wait, he has a thing on his hand. He has a thing on his arm. What number is it? There was a deep red wound on his chest. Oh yeah. So he opened a door and then died because he couldn't authenticate.
These wounds. I wonder what killed him.
Junpei did not have to wonder long.
It must have been this.
For lying next to the corpse was an axe. The entire blade of it was drenched in bright red blood. From the shape of the man's wound, there could be no doubt that it had been made by the axe. Junpei looked at the body again. A lake of blood stretched out around it. It was wearing the clothes of a ship's captain, although they were stained with blood.
These clothes? A captain? Does that mean this guy was Zero?
No. If this guy was Zero, then yeah, like, there would be no point to the game. On his left hand was a bracelet. Exactly. The number on the bracelet was 0.
Bracelet 0.
It was only then that Junpei noticed the stench of blood that filled the room. He couldn't help but laugh. There was nothing else for him to say. It was too simple, too obvious, too straightforward. If there hadn't been a dead man on the floor, Junpei might have thought it a joke.
Junpei.
It may be wise to find a way out of here first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Right into another puzzle room. Okay, so we are in the captain's quarters now. Bed, computer equipment, chair. What looks like a camera, a nightstand, and a chest, I guess? Well, we're gonna be looking... Nope, it's a nightstand. Okay, so first things first, camera. A camcorder. Looks like it's pointed at the door. Well, the power's on. Why would someone want to videotape a door? Not so much videotape a door as videotape whoever comes in. Or whoever punches in this code. The control panel for the electronic lock. I guess I've got to put in a passcode. I don't think it's just about numbers. There's a hole in the bottom of it right here. I think you need to put a key in it first. Yep. There's blood on the chair. Do you think this was the dead guys? Yeah, probably. There's something metallic on top of that table. Hey, is that a music box? Well, let's have a look. Oh, it's one of those old music boxes. How about we wind it up? Why does it sound like that? Is it broken? The pins on the cylinder are shaped all weird. I don't think those are the pins. Looks like someone put something else on top of it. I think we're gonna have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you? Yeah, probably. It's a lamp. But it does turn on, but it doesn't turn on. I don't think there's anything special about it. A small table. Okay. A bed. There's nothing in it. They look like batteries. There's a cable running from them to the monitor. Oh, cameras. Screen shows what's going on in a small room somewhere that I don't recognize. This screen's showing what's happened at the central staircase on B deck. The room on this screen looks really fancy. There's just some random hallway on this one. This screen shows the big hospital room. This one shows the central staircase on C deck. I don't recognize the room on this one. There's a bunch of weird buttons on here. They probably switch what you can see on the screens. Do you know how to work this thing? Why don't we just press one of these? Like this one. Well, I guess it does change the... Whoa. What the hell is this? I think this is Zero taunting us. There's nothing on the monitor. Just static. Hey, isn't the door on that screen the one right behind us? You're right! So whatever that camera sees is sent to this screen in real time. I wonder if that means something, you know? Heh. Junpei snorted with grim humor for the second time since he'd come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each spelling out
Z-E-R-O, huh? It's like he's making fun of us.
Yeah, that's the sense I'm getting too.
What do you think?
He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Clover nodded.
Nothing.
Seems that she cared about very little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her. Given the strain she was surely under, Junpei was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. Still, he had to ask. He gestured towards the corpse.
What about him? Do you think that's really Zero?
Clover shook her head weakly. So yeah, she's on the same wavelength as I am.
There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? Zero is one of us.
Yeah, right.
I know it's important to figure out who this guy is, but don't you think we should figure out how to get out of here first?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
But...
Please, I don't want to waste any more time.
Clover looked miserable, as if she could start crying at any moment. Junpei just didn't have the heart to tell her no.
All right, sure thing.
Was his mind playing tricks on him? Junpei wondered. For a moment, he could have sworn he'd seen Clover smile. Ah, codes. What's the deal with this? Is it some kind of code? There are 4 rows of numbers and letters. They all start with 0 and end with 8, F, N, or V, respectively. Maybe this has something to do with the number bases. New material has been added to the file screen. Okay, we'll take a look there. A numeral system chart found in the captain's quarters. 10 in base 10 is written as A in hexadecimal. Therefore, 11 is B, 12 is C, 13 is D, 14 is E, and so on. This chart shows the rules for each numeral system. Okay. So up to 8. Interesting. I actually have no idea what that means. Well, apart from the obvious. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. A chair! I think this probably used to be a door. Nobody's going through it as long as this metal plate's here, though.
Well, even without the metal plate, the desk's in the way.
Okay. Looks like whatever the camera sees shows up on the screen behind us. Yeah, so if I put my hand here in front of it, shows up in the middle top screen back there.
You've got a short lifeline, Junpei.
Hey, mind your own business! There's a hole in that. It looks like it might be a keyhole. Huh. So there's not a lot of clues here. Ah! Right, another room. Derp. Small screwdrivers. Okay. So I'm gonna combine that with this. Alright, the screwdriver ought to make short work of this music box. Done. Got a cylinder. Looks like a cylinder for a music box. There are a number of pins and some pieces of metal that look rather like fans attached to it. Ink. A bottle of ink. It's filled with ink. There's nothing in the drawer anymore. There's nothing in the drawer. Nah, there's air. How old are you? 9? Oh, that was great. I loved it. I mean, what if I am 9? What if the player who's playing the game is 9 years old? You gonna judge him, Ace? Really? There's a pair of headphones on the desk. An early telecommunications device. Most likely used to transmit a radio signal of some sort. I experimented with it earlier, but to no avail. I imagine it's broken. Another broken device. Ah! Hey, what's this? It's blank. There's nothing written on it. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. I buy that. Oh. Okay. I take it back. A white piece of paper. It's blank. Looks as though that drawer is the only thing that's locked. I don't see a keyhole though. An electronic lock, perhaps. Take a look at the left side of the drawer. Yeah, there's some cables over there. That must mean... Look! A hook! That wasn't a joke! I know, man. A clock mounted on the wall. The hands aren't moving. A little surprised that the time is wrong then, I suppose. And there's nothing on the back. A light. It looks like a pretty flower. Hey Ace, look! It's a monkey with glasses! Wow. I mean, I had your back there for a second, Junpei, but nah. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? Hey Ace, look! It's a model of a steam train. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? It's a telegraph key. A machine for transmitting Morse code. I tried setting an SOS earlier, but I doubt that did anything. Zero would never make it that easy. So you think it's broken? No, it works. I'm just not sure if it actually transmits anything outside of the ship. Hey Ace, look. There's a big-ass rat trap over here. I told you, that's a telegraph key. It is a device that transmits messages through Morse code. I'm just trolling him now. Junpei, what are you doing? We've searched the wheelhouse from top to bottom. There's no reason to go back. In fact, don't you think it would be wise to investigate the captain's quarters? I think we ought to check both rooms, don't you? I did. It's an old telegraph machine. Nothing suspicious here. I'll be honest, I have no idea how it works. There's a plaque on the door, but it doesn't say anything. So this is the exit, huh? Don't even really have to try this door to know that it's locked. I knew it. Camera's pointing at the exit. Nah, I didn't think so. Huh. Oh wow, that actually worked! I guess I'll put the ink on the cylinder. Maybe now? Now I just gotta roll the cylinder across a piece of paper. Oh, there we go! And if I'm right, the ink should... Morse code chart. Nice! What is this?
It's just a bunch of lines and dots.
I put ink on the cylinder from the music box. Then I rolled it across the paper and it left this.
Is it some kind of code?
I think it's probably Morse code.
Oh, Morse code.
Okay, I think I'm going back to the other room. I'm gonna examine it again. Oops. Just as you suspected, right? Now you have the pattern of dots and lines on the paper. I imagine it's Morse code. These dots and lines are the dots and dashes of Morse code. Well, I was kind of hoping you'd be able to translate that, Ace, but I guess not. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Alright, I've got the Morse code I'm supposed to enter. If I do this right, something will happen. I hope. Alright, let's give this a shot. Oh! I actually have to do this myself? Nope. Four, 5. Oh, nice! That's the last one, and yes! Excellent work, Junpei. Good job. You seem to have figured it out. You've unlocked the drawer. Sweet. Oh. And there's something underneath it, too. A red file lay in the drawer. Junpei reached down and picked it up.
Looks like there's something on the cover. ALLICE.
Alice with an all ice?
What? Isn't it supposed to say all ice? This doesn't have a space between the L and the I. Are they saying that ALLICE is a single word?
Or maybe it's an acronym. It was all interesting thought, but it left Junpei's mind quickly as he opened the file. What lay inside was far more interesting and far more confusing. Holy shit, what the fuck? Hieroglyphics? Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
Hieroglyphics! He didn't realize he'd spoken aloud until Ace looked over at him.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Can you read them?
Of course.
No, he can't. That's sarcasm.
I can't. What would make you think I could?
Thought so.
What the hell?
Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just 1 or 2 pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file, and something fell out.
Huh? What's this?
He bent down and picked it up.
Oh, a key card.
That's another space symbol. What space symbol is this one? Pluto, maybe? Or Uranus? Potentially Neptune? I don't know. There was a symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbols for the Saturn and Mercury key cards. This one, however, had a dot in the center of the male symbol.
Uranus.
Yeah!
That's the Uranus symbol.
Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved on the card as well. Bottom Deck Library.
Something's written on the bottom. Bottom Deck Library. This must be the key to the library, then. Is the bottom deck a library?
That's a good question.
Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now.
He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. New material has been added to the file screen. And what's that? It's a unique key. A key with a leather case. It isn't metal. My guess would be ceramic. Junpei, have you found a keyhole that might fit it? Yes. Yes, I have, in fact. But first, we're going to take a look at that file. A file found in the communications office. It says Alice on the spine. All of the pages are filled with hieroglyphics from ancient Egypt. Okay, I guess that's all you say. That's fine, I guess. Control panel for the electronic lock. Looks like it's got a keyhole in the bottom right. Maybe the key I got earlier. Sweet! Just had to put the key in and now it's on.
Junpei, look! There's the minus signs on the screen.
There's 8 of them. That probably means we've got to put in 8 digits.
Do you think you can figure it out?
I have no clue. I would assume it has something to do with the screens. This is one of those things that switches what's on the screen. Let's see what happens if I flip one of these switches. Nothing. Looks like it doesn't work anymore. Wonder if she'll give me a clue, or a hint rather, if I... There are 8 dashes on the screen. I guess I need to put in 8 numbers. 8 digits, huh? Once I put in the 8-digit numbers, I press E to enter it. And if I mess up, I guess I just press C. Alright, let's give it a shot. We're gonna go back though, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Huh? What's the passcode? Pretty sure I've searched every part of this room by now.
I wonder why this camera's pointed at the door.
Well, the feed from it is being piped to the screens behind us. It's gotta mean something. Okay, so maybe the exit, it's locked. Yeah, no shit. I was trying to click that. Maybe we... I wonder why the screen just shows the exit. I mean, it's just a door.
I know, right? The 4 on the bottom just says 0.
Oh! The exit. And those 4 letters. Maybe. I see. I see. Each letter represents a number, I guess? But the only thing that really makes sense would be if we look at the file again. Specifically... Nope, that's not that. Never mind. The numerical system. I mean, I'm gonna try one because I have an idea of what it could be, but I doubt it. I would be very surprised if it turned out I was right here. One more time. Okay, so they are multi-digits. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we've got it. We've got the answer. Okay, so each letter represents a number in the alphabet. If we were just doing regular numbers, A to Z would be like 1 to 26, but we're adding 9 digits to them. So 26 plus 9. Hang on, gotta write shit down now. 26 plus 9 is 35. E is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. R A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. That's 10. K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R is 18. And O is 15. Okay, let's try that now. Also, for those who are wondering, I was just gonna literally like fill the screen with zeros and see where that got me, but yeah, no, that. Okay, so we said 30. Yeah, once I put in the 8-digit number, I just press E to enter it. Also, I wasn't paying attention. It actually says 8 digits. I thought it said 4 because I'm dumb and I didn't read it. And if I mess up, I guess I just press C. One more time. 35, 14, 18, 15. No, it's actually wrong. Shit. Well then I don't know. Shit. Wrong again. Hey, Junpei, didn't you find a list of numbers and letters? Yes, that's what I'm using it for. Don't you think that might be a clue? Huh? Okay, so then maybe if I just add 10 instead. So that'd be 30. Yeah. 36, 15, 19, 16. Nope, that's not it either. Wait a minute. Oh, I think I fucked it up when I did the first attempt. I added 9 to the first 2 digits, but not the last 2. So we're gonna try again. 35, 14, and it would actually be 27 and 24. Yeah! Yes, it worked.
Good job, Junpei.
Excellent. You seem to have unlocked it. Good work, Junpei. Alright. Let's go. I made that puzzle way harder than it needed to be. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit, before turning left, like a great backward L.
All right, let's go.
Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straightaway. He ran, and ran, and ran. At the end of the hallway was a door.
That's the next door.
He made straight for it.
Wait, a piece of paper.
He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. Junpei skidded to a halt.
This is...
He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off of the floor. It's another map.
The ship's interior for ADEC.
Cool.
What's wrong?
Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei.
I found a map for this floor.
He showed Ace where he snatched from the what he snatched from the wall. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was, and nodded.
I see.
With that, he began running again, past Junpei.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Right? You would expect an, oh, good job, Junpei. Attaboy. Or some bullshit like that.
I should keep this, though.
Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace. But something stopped him.
Hey, where's Clover?
That's a good question. He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen.
Damn it, what the hell is she up to?
Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarter, her hand on the doorknob.
Clover!
Huh?
As Junpei watched, she closed it, gently and quietly. What were you doing?
What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
Liar.
What do you mean, nothing?
Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket as if trying to hide something. Aha!
What the hell is that?
What?
You've got something in your pocket.
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, this? This is...
Just tell us.
I wonder.
What the hell?
Come on, we gotta hurry.
With that, Clover ran, straight past the somewhat confused Junpei. As she did, he caught a glimpse of her back.
Huh? Clover, what's that on your back?
Sticking up from her collar was something that looked like a big wooden stick.
A stick? Hey, Clover! What the hell's that thing on your back?
She didn't respond. Instead, she quickly turned the corner and disappeared. She took a weapon in case she'd need it, or because she's planning to hurt somebody.
Is she ignoring me?
Yep.
For crying out loud.
Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later, and ran after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs.
The big stairs. Huh. So this is where it ends up. Just like it says on the map.
It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His I see, after reading the map himself, meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
Ace? Did he head down?
Maybe. He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
Oh, there he is.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
Oh, wow! And not just Ace. Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
Really?
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
June's face was excited. That doesn't look like excitement to me. That looks like she's about to start yelling at people. Something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
Given her situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
You found what?
Found what?
We found it!
The 9th door?
What did you find?
The last door!
Oh wow, holy crap, they found the 9th door!
We found door 9!
What?
Come on! Just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay.
Seven turned and jogged off down the stairs.
Well, if that's the case...
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
The rest followed.
Jumpy! We finally made it!
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what one of them felt.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it. At least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was.
We've reached the end.
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
Something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door.
Yeah, and there is 7 of us here, which means at the very least 2 people have to stay behind.
7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people. Is there a way?
Junpei looked over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
Hey, Junpei! June, what the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Junpei!
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could.
Yeah.
Junpei followed. They were quiet for a while, until they had just reached C deck when Clover spoke.
Hey, what about door 2?
Everyone else stopped. They all turned to look at Clover. Seven spoke.
What about door 2?
Door 2 is the only one we haven't gone through it, I mean.
Yes, that is true.
Are you guys okay with that? Not investigating it, I mean?
So what? We found door 9. We don't need any of the other doors.
What's the point? Huh? What's the point in going to door 9? We can't all go through it, right?
And she's voicing the thing that everybody was wondering about, which means some of us are going through door 9, and then the rest of us, while we wait, will go through door 2. That's really the only thing that makes sense to me.
And we should do what we have to do before we go any further. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. The best way to finish it quickly is to do the border pieces first. You know? Or what? You think all 7 of us should go to door 9? And then we argue over who stays behind and who gets to go?
Yep. She's absolutely right. We need to sort this shit out now.
Do we really want to do that again? Who knows? If we check out door 2, maybe we'll find something. Maybe we can find a way to get all of us out. Huh.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna appeal to June.
I don't know what might be in there. We may not find anything. But don't you think it'd be better to at least have a look? I mean, am I wrong? Does that sound wrong to you guys?
Yeah, you do have a point.
The others nodded in agreement.
The last time I checked the clock, it was 4:30. It's not like we've got a lot of time, but if we're quick about it, we might have time to take a look.
You're right. Let's go take a look at door 2.
They were back in front of the elevator. Nearby was the large hospital room.
The elevator can take us down to door 2.
Who shall go then?
Let's see.
Me. I'm going.
Then June, 7, and I need to go with her.
Yep. 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 7 equals 20. And 2 plus 0 is 2.
Hey, why do you get to...
I don't mind. We'd only waste time arguing over it.
Junpei, I'm okay too.
See?
Can we just go now?
Fine.
All right, let's get going.
I'll see you later.
Okay. Be careful.
So that means me and Lotus are the only ones staying back. They climbed into the elevator and Junpei listened to it creak and rattle its way to the bottom deck. Only Junpei, Ace, and Lotus were left. Oh, yes, okay. As the elevator rumbled out of sight, Ace spoke.
Lotus, would you be so kind as to go with me?
Go with you? Well, I didn't think people still talked that way outside of the 1950s.
Ouch!
Well, I'm a mother. Would that be a problem for you?
Oh! What? Lotus has kids? Explains why she's kind of like no nonsense.
That wasn't what I meant to... I was hoping you would come with me.
Seriously, though. I was kidding.
Were you, though?
So, where was it you wanted to take me?
There's something I wanted to show you.
Hey man, what the hell? I'm not important enough?
Well, it's not like that.
Okay. So then what is it like?
Once I've shown Lotus, I'll show you.
Really?
Why can't you show us both at the same time?
Of course.
Ace's smile was friendly.
Fine. Do whatever you want.
Thanks, Junpei. Are you coming, Lotus?
Fine. Doesn't look like they're going to be back anytime soon. I might as well go and see whatever it is you think is so important.
Thank you. Well then, shall we go?
Ace turned and began to walk. Lotus followed. They disappeared into the hallway on the left. Time seemed to drag as Junpei waited for the others to return.
They're so slow. And what's keeping Ace and Lotus?
Suddenly, the elevator opened. A single person stood there.
Clover! I guess you're the first one back.
It was only Clover inside. He didn't see the rest. Uh-oh. She looked at Junpei, then slowly, purposefully, stepped out of the elevator. Uh-oh. The door closed behind her. Uh-oh.
Where's everybody else? What happened?
She didn't answer. Instead, her eyes swept the room and then settled on Junpei.
Where are Ace and Lotus?
Hey, I asked you
Ace said
first.
he wanted to show Lotus something, so they went into that hallway.
I asked you first, bitch. Junpei explained what had happened.
Oh, then they went over there?
Her voice was small and timid.
Yeah, I think so.
He repeated his earlier question.
So where are June, Santa, and Seven? Why aren't they with you?
You really want to know?
Kinda. But not really. Because that tone just puts me on edge. There was something wrong with her smile.
Yeah.
She's gonna try and kill me.
Okay, sure. Here, let me show you.
Clover pulled something out of her pocket and tossed it onto the floor at Junpei's feet.
Huh?
He looked down. On the floor in front of him were 3 metal rings. Yep. She authenticated. Everybody else went in. She didn't. Fuck. Did I just get the bad ending?
Bracelets. Oh my god. Oh, holy shit.
Junpei collapsed.
No. No way. This has got to be some kind of joke. This can't be real.
Junpei's body felt like rubber. His heart felt like a cold lump in his chest, and his hands shook uncontrollably. Sweat poured down his face. 3 bracelets sat there on the floor before him. He could see the numbers on their faces.
3, 7,
and 6.
6.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so.
I got the bad ending. Holy fucking shit, I got the bad ending.
1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confine of the ship, or it acts as the mirror's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
And because I'm alone with her, she's gonna try and kill me now.
But why?
Junpei's voice was flat and broken. Clover's response was cold.
Revenge for my brother. He was forced into door 3 and murdered.
Okay, but how do you know it was those 3 that did it?
You need at least 3 people to open a door. Who were the 2 that opened that door with him? It could only have been Santa and Seven.
Well then, what the fuck? Why did you kill June?
That's why I killed them.
And that's literally what I was thinking earlier, wasn't it? 2 plus 3 plus 7 equals 12, plus 1 and 2 equals 3.
Why? Why did you kill June?
Because she tried to protect them.
Oh?
She was in my way. She had to die too.
What do you mean she tried to protect them exactly?
No.
Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to wake himself from what had to be a dream.
No.
It couldn't be real. It just couldn't.
Hey, Junpei.
He felt Clover's hand on his shoulder. Her smile was wrong. Horribly wrong. Her face looked like a mask made from stretched human skin. The smile that parted her lips did not extend to her eyes. They were dead and empty. The girl in front of him was no longer the Clover he had known. Perhaps she was not even human.
Let's go.
Her hand reached out towards him.
Let's get out of here. Let's leave this ship.
What the hell are you talking about? To open a numbered door,
Yes, I know. You need at least 3 people.
She took the captain's wristband, which is a 0.
But as long as we have this...
Once again, Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out.
That's...
It was another bracelet. Junpei could see the number on the face. 0. 0.
The 0 bracelet. You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this? This is... See? You get it now? If we have the 0 bracelet, we can leave.
But don't we need his hand to authenticate it?
You and I can open door 9 with just the 2 of us.
5 plus 4 plus 0 was 9.
See? So let's go.
But what about Ace and Lotus?
Come on. Hurry up.
She shoved out her hand again. Junpei looked up at Clover. She had the face of a demon. But there was something else. There was a holy light that surrounded her. She was both a fierce god and a benevolent goddess filled with love.
Junpei.
Her voice was soft. Her eyes weren't empty anymore. They were deep. So deep, Junpei could feel himself falling into them. He felt dizzy. There was something oddly bewitching about her. His mind was beginning to crack, and his heart began to melt.
Junpei.
The hand she was offering him. It looked so soft, so inviting.
Clover.
Junpei reached out with his own hand trembling and closed it over hers.
Yeah?
Yep. I knew she was gonna kill him. Junpei writhed in agony. He shuddered and twitched, his body spasming as he went into shock. He screamed until his throat was torn and bloody, and then screamed more. His cries echoed across the room. Eventually, his movements slowed, then faded. There was no more strength left in Junpei. He could feel his body begin to grow numb. He no longer felt pain. Yeah, she's gonna try and escape herself now that she has his bracelet. He no longer felt anything. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. The last remnants of his mind began to fade. Even as his vision faded into nothingness, he saw Clover.
Thanks, Junpei. I'm just gonna borrow this, okay?
Her smile was cold. What was left of Junpei's conscious mind drifted away. All that was left was a twisted, broken corpse. Yep. Yep. That is the bad end. And I ended up with it. Oh, that hasn't happened to me in a while. Damn. Which means Ace and Lotus are in for a rude awakening because they're going to be stuck on the ship with no one able to help them. Let me ask you a question. Wow! Holy fucking shit! Of course I end up with the funny achievement. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm not even mad. That was fucking good. Wow. You have reached one ending. This game has multiple endings. In order to experience all of the endings, you need to play through the game multiple times. Yep, seems like. Make sure to save your progress now to retain all information you've acquired. Holy shit. Okay, so even... Okay, hold up. So if I save here, that means that when I start a new game, I still have all that information? That's fucking incredible. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, yeah, I'm all for this. I hope you guys enjoy repeated scenes because y'all are coming with me to deal with this and see if we can find the good ending or the true ending or whatever the fuck it is that we're gonna get our hands on. Oh, this is completely blind and I love it. Let's do this.